Give me 2 seconds. Hello, how's everyone going? And good morning, Aiden, how are you going? So, yeah, it is definitely evening here, and it's getting slightly colder, kinda, maybe. It's a weird May. So today was around about 20, so not too bad. But yeah, we've got a weird May. It's it'll still be warm. Tomorrow will be warm. Wednesday will be okay. We're getting a bit colder, but not too bad. And then Saturday will be very cold, which is what I expect. You going good? Are you pretty solid? Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah, I can't complain either. We are also joined with Socks is here, as she always is. And Paddy was outside the study door before. I opened it up and he's done his old chirp and run away. And I was like, alright, is he trying to see what I do in this room? Or is he annoying Socks? Most likely the latter. Oh, damn you, Nightbot. Alright. Sorry, I'm just changing the volume on my headset. Finally did all the uni portfolio documentation at long last, which means I need to just make the software nice. That's awesome news. Progress. I need to finish writing all the unit tests for the API. I'm just like, I was looking at it on the weekend yesterday, and I was just like, I just can't bring myself to do it, and I'm like, I need to do something else differently for the moment, and then I'll jump back into all the unit tests. I'm not the best at unit tests, let's just say that. Quite a bit of progress. It felt like death by paperwork. Yeah. Yep, no, I can understand that. I also dread paperwork. And I am not going to have a fun time when I do all the documentation. So, yeah. So I'm going to right-hand click and close all these tabs and go, yay. Now, there's 2 things we've got to do today. I realized that I haven't plugged my thing in, so we're just going to use this here. So we're going to go to do. So for the first one, what we got to do is implement the user API key generator. Easy done. And 2, what we've got to do is start the GDPR process, a wizard. So yeah. Also managed to set up Nick's Darwin this weekend with, ooh, that's the immutable operating system, right? Am I... Is this Nick's? Or am I thinking of... Am I thinking of the wrong thing? Most likely thinking of the wrong thing, that's fine. Okay. Nix is the immutable package manager and language sort of thing which powers Nix OS. Alright. Also managed to... Oh, okay, I read that one line. And we're on our ad breaks. We get to see Socks. We're going to give her a lovely little pat. I think she's just shaking her head. Yes. You're got a little upset stomach, don't you? She threw up just before stream. So yeah. Which is what she loves to do. Aw, sweetie. Yeah. So I think I know what it is. The problem is I will need to get a vet to test this out. But she keeps throwing up after eating tuna. And I essentially gave some wet food to both Patty and Max. And she snuck in and ate some of that wet food which contained tuna. And she just threw up. So yeah, I've got to book a vet appointment with the vet one day and just be like, all right, cool. I think she just throws up because of this. But then again, she throws up for a number of reasons too. So it could be one of those things where I've only noticed it whilst she's in tuna. So yeah. All right. Welcome back, everyone. Oh, she loves tuna. She will eat tuna. She'll eat it really, really fast. And that could also be the problem. She could be eating the tuna really, really fast. And it's just making her sick that way. So, yeah. Because at the moment, she's fine. So she hasn't had an allergic reaction or anything like that. So, yeah. Could be a number of things. And Yash, how are you? Hopefully you're going well. So, yes, welcome back. We are actually going to work on the UI today. I got a bit sick of writing out unit tests and doing all that kind of stuff. So we're going to work on the UI. I might jump into dark mode. So what we want to do is a part of this. We kind of want to implement the ability for users to, for the admin to create API keys. So the way to do it is we'll put it here. We won't get regular users to do it because there's just security issues around that. What you would want to do is the admin user to actually set that up, because they'll be setting up the users and so forth like that. So they might actually give that particular user a username and all that fun stuff, which you do at the administration level. So yeah, we would put it somewhere in here, just like one of these little widgets. We'll have an API sort of thing, and then we'll just list them out. We'll have the ability to delete them. So it'll be in a table, which will be perfectly fine. As for copying the API key, I did have a chat to someone, and it's kind of like if you lose your API key and stuff like that, it's just easy to generate them. So yeah. Too long didn't read. Nick's Darwin is pretty much Nick's for macOS, pretty much. Fair enough. Fair enough. One day I'll get around to playing with it. So yeah. And in fact, it's something easy for me to play around with because I have my my NAS, which can actually host VMs and stuff like that. So yeah. That could be something I could do. Alright, sorry, I'm getting distracted with the cube. So let's get started. So we'll probably end up doing something here. It'll probably belong under the user. This is where I don't want to get trapped with this. I don't want to spend too long deciding where to go. I'll probably put it above the user permission, actually below the user permission list. And it'll be quick and easy to move up and down and so forth like that. You're working on the UI, like what technology you're going to use. So we have been using both Django and VueJS. So yeah, you're currently looking at the user interface for NearBeach. So this is actually part of the user information page. So this is where we would go in to sort of edit sort of users and so forth like that. So yeah. All right, going into here, let's open up this. Let's go source JavaScript. Let's open up the components. Let's go down to users. So we've got new user, reset user password, and user information. I'm going to right hand click. We're going to create a new component, and we're going to call it user API keys .view. All right, so we're going to create our template. We're going to just add in a hello world for the starter. Nothing serious. We've got our script. we're gonna export default, and I think we go name, and then we go user API keys. Now, I've already broken one of my rules. We don't pluralize the names of components. We only have it as singular. And the reason being is you don't want to have a second step being like, did I name that in the plural or singular state? If I had the rule saying everything got to go in the singular state, we keep it in the singular state. I'm sitting playing with it. I mainly set it up because we plan to use it for this React Native project. Oh, nice. Yeah, I've got to... All right, we're jumping quickly onto what my NAS at the moment. My plans for the NAS. So NAS plans. What I want to do is simply create a simple VM, install NearBeach, easy done. With the database, have 1 million plus rows of data, so I'll be feeding it with the seed and stuff like that. And 4, hit it with locust. Now the good thing is with my NAS, I can specify which cores I can use for that particular VM. So I can make it use cores that aren't going to be used by anything else, and then I can just hit it and actually see how it handles. I don't know Java at all. I'm familiar with Python only. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Django is Python. Oops. Can't spell. So yeah, Django is built on top of Python, and yeah, it's just the framework. There's another one called Flask, which is also good. I haven't used it. I've got a friend who has used it, and he says it's really, really good. And dropping by to say hi, I am Speedy Alex. Hey, welcome back, Speedy Alex. So hopefully you're going well. Welcome, welcome. So yeah. We're at the start of the stream, so we're talking about random sort of stuff at the moment, but we'll get into it. Aiden says they like Fast API. Fair enough. I haven't used Fast API either. Alarm in under 2 hours for work. Oh, fair enough. Yeah, so we're just talking about VMs and stuff like that. That's what I want to do on my NAS, boot up a VM, have all that sort of there. Be able to hit it with locust and actually see how NearBeach handles that sort of load, sort of stuff. But let's get back into it. So we're going to create this API key component. So we're just going to do that at the moment. So we've just got the name. I'm double checking that I've got that export default right. Yeah, it is export default. All right, sweet. It's been a while since I've written a Vue component. So now we want to actually put that component where we want it. And I'm just wondering how we're going to get the data and so forth like that. We'll probably... Yeah, I've got a couple of ideas, but we'll figure this out as I go along. I might get to meet Chris later this year at CYC. Oh, nice. Where's CYC? Is that in Seattle? Is it a yacht club? Commit your code conference. Okay, cool, because I looked up CYC and a yacht club came up. I was a little confused for a second. Do you know about Selenium and PyTest Python libraries for automatic testing? Yeah, a little bit. So I used to use Python and Selenium back in the day for automating a couple of my tasks at work. So usually it would be very, very simple. It would be going in, searching for something, editing it, and then clicking a button and then hitting save and waiting about a minute before moving on to the next one. No, good iron, Speedy. So yeah, I looked it up and I was like, yachts. I just find that funny though. So yeah, when you do use Selenium and stuff like that, sorry, this is in very big bright mode. Look at the drivers, download the drivers, and put them next to your Python file. Because yeah, I had a problem where it wouldn't open up Chrome for ages, and then I realized, oh yeah, I need to actually download the driver and put it right next to my Python file itself. So yeah. Should get that's perfectly fine. I am Speedy, but thank you very much for popping by and have fun. Oh, get some rest. But yeah, getting back to the Selenium sort of stuff, it was pretty simple. And what I would tend to do is, for example, let's say we go to localhost or something like that, and we're in here. Let's say I wanted to create a new object, and let's say I needed to go through the menu to do it. What I would do is I would click on something like this, and I would go, all right, cool, how would I find this? And I would go copy XPath is one way to do it. So it's kind of like this. So you can use this bit of information to be like, all right, cool, Python, click on the XPath that matches this, and then we'll be able to click on it, and then you can do it down here, inspect this. You can then click on this and be like, all right, cool, get that. Or you can get its child elements and be like, I want to click on, knowing that these child elements won't change orders. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You'll be like, all right, click on the 6th item. And then it'll take you there. So yeah, excluding that, I didn't use it for anything sort of extensive or complicated. Usually it was very, very quick, and it would just do the job. All right. And didn't handle errors very well most of the times, but yeah, we were dealing with just a couple of web pages. Getting back into this, so we want to actually put this in our app, so we need to open up components. We have the users, so I've got this is all in alphabetical order, so I'm going to keep it in alphabetical order. User API. Equals defined async component. We're going to import. And this will be called Webpack chunk name. And it's going to be called user API key. It's going to be in the components, users, user API key view. So that's the chunk. Now we need to import it into the app itself. Let's go all the way down. User API key. User API key. All right. Gonna close that. We don't need that anymore. I'm gonna minimize everything. I'm gonna boot up this. I'm gonna boot up NearBeach. Open up NearBeach. I'm gonna open up our templates, our NearBeach. We're gonna scroll down to users, and we're gonna open up user information. So here's our user information. So there's our user list one, which we wanted above. So what we want to do is user API key, and we're going to keep it like that for the moment. We're going to add more and more stuff into this, but first let's get this rendering on the page. Now I'm in user information, and I just realized one thing. I didn't run npm run watch. And I'll need to open up this, make sure that we're disabling the cache, so when we do compile it, we can get to it. All right, everything correct. File name and script still not detecting, saying data 0 collect. My progress stop now. Now, out of curiosity, you might have spotted this in NearBeach. If I open up, let's say this, you'll notice I've got an init.py file. Try putting that in your folder. So __init__.py. I don't know if that will work. Probably not, but it's low-hanging fruit. And what that does is it tells Python, hey, this particular folder is a Python type of folder. All right, I'm going to hit refresh. There we go. We've got our hello world. Now we can build our card. So I want to do div class equals card. And this is where I go back and go to get bootstrap. All right, hang on. That's what I want. I don't know why that wasn't finding it. So I'm just going to look at this. Okay, cool. Div class card body. Yep. All right, cool. And I might actually minimize this, open up source, open up JavaScript, open up components, opens up user information. I'm double checking. Yeah, card body, and then everything goes in. All right, sweet. And then it is as simple as a H1. Actually, this one won't be a H1. This will be very much like this. So a H2 with a HR. And then we usually have the information. So yeah, like that. So what I want is div class equals row, div class equals col md4. We're going to add some data into it in a second, but first div class equals col md8. All right, cool. So what we'll have here is we'll have usually a P, isn't it? Strong and then a P. P class equals text instructions. Easy done. So what do I want to write in here? Create and destroy API keys for each user. The API keys will inherit the user's permissions. All right, I probably need to expand on that a little bit more than just that. So Okay, create and destroy API keys. The API keys will inherit. Okay. Create and destroy the API key. No. Sorry, I'm just having trouble. And hello, Mr. Graffiti. I have been. We're working on it right now. This is NearBeach, an open source project management system. So we're working on implementing where this hello world is, the ability to add and remove API keys at the user level. I'm just picking the wording out. So, I'm using Django for the backend and VueJS for the front end. We have also been using Django REST framework for the API. All right. API keys. You can create or destroy any API keys. Each key will be connected with the current user and inherit their permissions. All right, each key will be connected to the current user and inherit their permissions. So the Django REST framework, yes, is a REST framework. So if you don't know much about the REST framework or REST concept, here's a quick wiki article. There we go. Yeah, it's just a software architecture style. So, yeah. All right, cool. You can create or destroy any API keys. Each key will be connected with the current user and inherit their permissions. Easy done. All right, cool. I think that's a little bit better. I'm just trying to think if there's any other information we'll probably need to give the user. I can't think of anything at the moment. So we'll keep it like that. And then we've got the data down here. Now, we'll need to get the data. So we'll need to do it one of two ways. I'll quickly draw this out. I'm sorry, I don't have my, I can't find the cord for my tablet because I use it to charge my, my bike lights. So, somewhere in the house. So you're going to have to deal with my little mouse type of thing. So at the moment we're using Django as the backend. And what we can do is when we render the template is we can pass to the VueJS the data, which is perfectly fine. However, what we could do is we could get the VueJS to contact the backend through an API and get it to actually send these details. That will be perfectly fine. Yeah. However, I'm trying to think what would be a better solution. Now, the idea being is if we have the API, I'm just going to jump over here and I'm going to go admin and stuff like that and just click on the tokens. We're cheating here at the moment. So we don't want the these to be displayed to the user. And essentially what we want this to turn out to be like is we kind of want a bunch of dots and do something like that. So we're only showing X amount of API keys. So yeah, I know about REST framework, but not in depth So, oh, fair enough. Either do I. I don't know it in that much depth. I just know enough to implement it. And yeah. I've only just started implementing the API. We've been rolling our own for a while. However, someone's wanted something in the REST format and stuff like that. And we're like, well, we might as well build it up and move everything to it. So, yeah. So yeah, I don't want to show all the details like this. I want to just show just a little to confirm it. Because once someone creates the key, if they end up losing that key, it's fine. They can just recreate it. It's not going to be a problem. So we're going to allow multiple for a user, and you can do that same here. So if I added another token in here, and I go, all right, cool, team member already has one, and I go save. Ooh, this token already exists with the user. All right, no, that actually changes stuff. Sorry, I thought this would allow me to actually have multiple tokens for a user. Okay. That does change this. Give me a couple of seconds. Django REST framework API keys multiple for users. I want to see if this is possible. Because how can I make Django API for? Because yeah, sometimes you might want a different API key for different services. So let's say we've got NearBeach here. Yeah, I know my writing's horrible. You might have an app over here that uses another app, another app, and another app. And let's just say this app over here has a security issue. You want to be able to kill that key and not have to redeploy for all of these. And having separate API keys would be best in that sort of case. All right. No, it's not what I want. What I want is I want to find out if a user can have multiple. Not what I want. Okay. Sorry. Damn. Cause yeah, that puts a little pin in there. So NearBeach is an open source project management system. So if you need to manage a project, you would use something like a project management system. So you can gather user requirements, break them down into requirement items. From there, you can create either a Kanban board or projects and tasks and assign them to different teams and so forth like that. So yeah. That is what NearBeach is. And when you're ready to deploy, we've also got a request for change system in it. So if you've ever done a request for change, usually when you're deploying something in IT, sometimes you need to write down a request for change because there's going to be a lot of changes. And essentially, it's a document that writes down who's responsible for what and what happens if something goes wrong, what can go wrong, and so forth like that, to try and mitigate any problems. Okay, so and we're just hitting an ad break. For those on YouTube, don't worry, you guys don't get ads, but we also stream on Twitch. We run ads every half an hour so people don't get ads when they join the channel. They don't get pre-rolled ads. We do this so no one misses out on any content. You get to see me in my dressing gown, solve a Rubik's Cube, and my cat sucks. So, yeah. as we try and also figure out stuff. I also go on rambling rants and all that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Alright, there's the cube solved, messing it up again. Bloody glitch. Okay, we've got an error. Oh, that's fine, that's because I put that in there. Do multiple API keys for users. Alright. Okay, how are we with the ads? Are we back? I think we are back. Welcome back, everyone. All right, cool. Oops, hit the wrong button. This will show you how to set up multi-token authentication with Django REST frameworks or twist. Each user can have multiple tokens at the same time, which is what we want. The reason being why we want this is, once again, if you're using this in multiple different places and one of your keys got leaked, instead of having to redeploy your keys everywhere, you just cancel that key and redeploy it in that one spot. So, yeah. This is not possible with Django REST framework out of the box, and we'll need some customization. So do I reply? Sometimes, yes I do. It depends if I see your chat. But why would you ever want multiple tokens per user? Because you really don't want to use a different token for each client. If you use client uses the same token, the token is basically a password. If you want to change your token in one client, you have to change it for every client. Yep. Enough reasoning. All right, cool. So, like, if you look at the definition of the token model that comes with Django, you might notice that it has some severe limitations. It has a one-to-one relationship with the user model, so each user can only have one token. Yeah. Luckily, it's quite easy to use a custom token model. You first need to remove the REST framework.authentication from your installed app, and then create your own token model as a subclass of the DRF token. Okay. So, in our models, we won't need that. Now, another thing is, I've got to look. Oh, this is very old code. This might be different nowadays. Okay. So, we have all of that. We have that key is no longer a primary key, but still index and unique key equals alert. All right, cool. Yep. So each user can have one more token. Yep. All right, cool. So we would need to actually include this. Our custom model is hiding some fields inherited by the superclass, fields hiding from the extract model, but the token class is absolutely... All right, cool. Note that hiding the fields from the... Yeah, this is probably old. You graduated in 2023, was an network clean now, still has here. Fair enough. Meanwhile, I taught myself HTML, CS, JavaScript. Fair enough. How are you enjoying it? Will I get an internship? If you, at the moment, the job market is pretty horrible. I fully understand that. It is extremely hard to get a job. However, if it is possible to get a job, yes. To get an internship, yes. So, my recommendations whenever telling people what sort of programming languages to use is go on something like job searching site, which I'm pretty sure you've done because you're looking up React, Redux, and so forth like that. Web development, and definitely have a look in here and stuff like that. My other recommendation is to network. Oh, that's a terrible... Sorry, I can't draw or anything like that with just my mouse. So, for example, meetups. Alright, I don't live anywhere near there. So I might go, let's say, Melbourne. Let's go React, JS, stuff like that. And yeah, there's a meetup and stuff like that. So networking is, I think there's a random stat out there being like, most people who get jobs because they know someone. Like, it's a very high number. And that's true. The only 2 times I've ever got a job where I haven't known someone is when I worked in the kitchen as a kitchen hand when I was in my very early 20s. Whilst I was still at uni, and also my current job. Every other job in between, and I've had multiple jobs in between, I've just known someone. And that's how I got a job. And Arpen, welcome. Hopefully you're going well. Alright, so it looks like we've got to modify stuff. I'm going to cheat today. I'm gonna use Jupyter. I'm just gonna ask it the question and then do some further research. So I am using Django REST framework with API keys. I would like the ability to create multiple API keys for a single user. Is this possible? And do you have any links to instructions on how to complete? That's okay. And good luck. I'm not gonna lie, it's hard at the moment. It is terrible. I was extremely lucky when I got my current job. And it would be extremely hard right now if I needed to get another job. So yeah. All right. Install Django's REST framework API key. All right. All right. Install the package if you haven't yet. Let's actually double check that. That's what we're going to be looking up, Mr. Gafferty. So yeah, we're going to see how plausible it is to actually do it at the moment. If it requires a lot of dev work, I will probably sit down and talk with another dev on this project to be like, hey, is this worth my time and effort, or should we sort of just say only one API key per user? I don't like the idea of one API key for a user. As I stated before, you might want a different API key for different applications. And if one of those applications has a security leak where your API key gets leaked, you can, instead of having to cancel and then redeploy that API key across multiple different platforms, you're only doing it for that one platform. Yeah. All right, so Django REST Framework API key. Now, I don't think that's a real package. This is... Now, remember, ChatGPT, it gives it all its all, but the problem is, sometimes it hallucinates stuff. For the Django REST Framework keys library, allowing surface... Yep, all right, cool. Now, under our requirements... We've got the Django REST framework. Okay, we don't have it in there. We've got the Django REST framework. Oh. These clients are typically third-party. Yep. Features, simple, easy, create and revoke. Yep. Now, we won't need... because we're going to make our own UI and stuff like that. We just need the model to be... allow us to actually have multiple keys for one user. Desk tour someday. There's not much on the desk. I mean... we've got a cat. A cat bed. You got the stuff that my cat knocks off, socks knocks off, and we got my laptop. So yeah, not much, not much. Okay, trying to see GitHub documentation. Okay. I clicked the wrong one. That's what I wanted to see. Last month. All right. Okay. Okay. Wasn't a big release in there. Alright, create the custom API model. So to do API user class, user API, extract API key, user form key. Okay, cool. Register the API with the alright, sweet. Okay, so it looks plausible. I'm probably going to put this on the... I need to ask the other dev. So git status. Git reset hard. It's status, which is fine. So what we'll do is I will go talk to the other dev, be like, listen, we both agree there should be multiple API keys for a single user. Is it worth us actually doing all this work? And yeah, I'm leaning on yes, but also at the same time, I need to do a lot more research than what I'm just doing at the moment. It's not just ChatGPT. I've got to read what other people have done, like go to blogs and stuff like that. And also see if there's any information in the Django REST framework documentation and what they recommend too. So yeah, but that's not all today. We also wanted to start the GDPR wizard. So yay! That's meant to be a smiley face. Once again, I can't draw with my mouse. So that's actually going to be a completely new page. It's not going to be connected to the API at all. It's going to be its own complete thing. So yeah, let's get started. Let's close all tabs. Let's minimize this. Let's open up this. Let's go and open up NearBeach. We want to open up the views in here. Now we've got the search, we've got the tools, we've got internal functions, we've got authentication, we've got all of this. I don't think it needs to be broken up per se. I'm going to right hand click, I'm going to create a file, I'm going to call it GDPR wizard views.py. Man, I haven't written a view in a while. I've forgotten what's included in it. Yeah, there's not much. So what we want to do is we just want to create a def. And we want to go GD... how are we doing this? These are all lowercase. Yep. GDPR wizard information. And we're just passing through the request. And we're just going to return, and this is where we need to start importing stuff. So this will be from Django.http import HTTP response. All right, cool. HTTP. I don't think we need anything else at the moment. So we've just got the hello world. Easy done. So we're going to open up our URLs. We're going to find GDP. So there's a lot of URLs in here. And once we move a lot of this to the API, this file will actually shrink down. We'll probably end up splitting up this file into multiple different parts, much like we have down here. So we'll have a entry point that points at the different other URL files. So, geez, where's... Aha! Ooh, be careful, socks. Can I... So, we need a path. The path is just going to be GDPR wizard. It's just going to be that for the moment, and we're going to import the GDPR wizard views dot GDPR wizard. We need to import that. All right, cool. Sweet. So that should be in our system now. So if we go up here, we should go GDPR. I don't know why I'm getting P's and D's mixed up. Wizard. Something's broken. And I know why. Easy done. And there's our hello world. Sweet. Oh, just dropping stuff. Trust me. Sorry. You gotta pick that up. Alright, so we've got the hello world. Easy done. So our next thing to do, I'm going to put the URLs there. I'm going to close that. Actually, no, it's fine. I'll have to memorize everything. And I'm assuming you're saying you're Mernin from YouTube? Oh, morning. All right. And morning, Masala. Morning. How are you going? Hopefully you're going well. Sorry, I'm a bit confused. Not to worry. It's a long day for me. So in here, we want to create a new directory. We want to call it GDPR. I would hate to think that I've got this acronym around the wrong way. GDPR. Yep. All right, cool. If I've mucked this up so badly, I'm just going to hate myself for weeks. All right. So in here, we want to create a new file, and it's essentially going to be called GDPR wizard. Now, I don't like the... Give me a couple of seconds. .html. Okay, so we're going to add that in. I'm going to take off information here. GDPR wizard, right? And the reason being is there's no information about it whatsoever. It's going to be a wizard no matter what. We don't go search information, right? Hang on, I'm going to double check that. That's going to be silly if I have done that. Yeah, so we don't have information on search. We have search data, but that is a post. There we go, we just have search. So yeah, GDPR wizard. Okay, easy done. And then we got the HTML to worry about next. So very much similar to how we're setting up our projects. So one thing we've got to do is we've got to add in permissions. So now we only want administrator users to actually access this. So we're going to open up our diagnostics. Oh, that's our diagnostics information. We'll keep that one open. Whoops. We'll also open up our views with our diagnostic stuff and have a look in here. And that's how we do it. So user pass test and make sure the user's logged in. So we're just going to yank those two lines. We're going to paste them in. Now we'll need these. We're just going to just do that. That's going to be really easy to do. Sorry, it's getting actually hot in here. I'm just going to take off my dressing gown. Okay, so we've done that. We've returned the hello world. If I refresh on this, now that's a, if I go into team leader, sweet, it forwards it to the, all right, cool. It forwards that on, which is what I want. I don't want to show an error or anything like that. I just want to be like, oh, you meant dashboard? Yeah, you meant dashboard. Yeah, cool. So we've done the login required, we've done the user gets passes and stuff like that. Now, this is the GDPR. So we need a sort of template. We also need particular information and stuff like that. All right, cool. And all right, so I'm just having a quick think about a few things. All right. All right. Sorry, socks. I need to. So now we need to start rendering a template. So we'll go up here in the template. So NearBeach template. So we've got the GDPR wizard. I am going to say, I'm going to move that one over here. We've got this. That's pretty much it for the moment. Oh, I haven't actually connected it. So in here, what we want to do is we want to have... I'm trying to remember all the terminology. So we've got the template equals loader, and we don't have loader, so we need to actually import that right now. So from Django dot template import get template. All right, there we go. So we got the get template, and then we do the NearBeach not diagnostics. Sorry, this is where we got a GDPR wizard. All right, cool. Get template. Get wizard. Sorry, get context. At the moment, we won't use anything, and then this will be t dot memory serve me correctly. Don't know. We'll find out in a second. Perfect. All right, cool. I memorized it well. All right, sweet. It's been a while. So at the moment, we won't have any data coming through. We'll just render the template and we'll have a wizard and we'll get VueJS to do quite a lot of the heavy lifting. Now, with the search, I'm just wondering if we could utilize the search API that we already have. Which is possible, because the idea being is we're using, we'll have to look in description too. Okay. So, at the moment, if we create a new object, let's say create a new object, let's say GDPR, hello world, I am talking about other things. All right, so there's what we've got. We're going to NearBeach incorporate. We'll just create a new task and we go into find all objects and we go GDPR. Did I name that correctly? This should be appearing in there. Oh, I typed it wrong. All right. So it's fine with the title. But if we type in other things, it won't search that description. We need both the title and the description. If it was just the title, sure, that will be fine. But it isn't. So yeah, we'll probably have to use our own stuff, but that's perfectly fine. I'm also thinking about the I'm also thinking about the database names and stuff like that, and I just realized that a lot of this we will have to rework in the near future because we're genericizing all the fields and so forth like that in the database. But that's fine. We'll implement this and then handle that in the genericization, and that's happening at 0.32. Which is just a couple of months away. We want to finish this task, probably implement the sprints, and then, not the sprints, sorry, the story points, which shouldn't take so long, famous last words. Yeah. And then we've got the sprint towards getting the API finished and settled. So when we go to version 1, we'll be happy with it. So we don't need to make any breaking changes and so forth like that. Because the idea is version 0 will be out the door. We won't support that when version 1 comes out. But yeah, we're telling everyone not to use version 0 and move to version 1. You okay there, Socks? You just wanted to lick yourself inappropriately whilst I'm on stream. She's like, what? We're not doing nothing. Alright, so going back to the GBR wizard. We've got the hello world. We're just going to render in something in here. It will be the wizard itself. So that will actually be making sure I done that correctly. GDPR. All right. So that's in there. We won't need to pass it any information. It's very much like the search is a blank slate, and then you build up stuff in that blank slate. Okay. And I know we worked at this. I know we worked on this a little while ago, where we were discussing what we were going to do. Oh, we're in an ad break. I'm terribly sorry. For those on YouTube, we actually run ads on Twitch every half an hour. The idea being, if you join the channel, you won't get any ads. They're called pre-rolled ads. They're annoying as hell, and they destroy channels. So yeah, we do this. However, to be fair to those running the ads, we just do this. You on YouTube don't get ads. Don't worry about it. That's fine. So yeah, you get to see Socks and myself. Yeah, and probably me solve Rubik's Cube. So hopefully everyone's going well. All right. There we go, solved. Also, Socks is staring at the computer. She does that from time to time. Got about 12 seconds left of the ads. Alright, and welcome back everyone. So, we've got our GDPR wizard. We won't need to import anything like that into here. I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to open up this. I am going to open up our source, our JavaScript, our components. I'm going to right hand click. I'm going to create a directory and go GDPR. I'm going to leave it like that. GDPR. We're going to open up this and we're going to call it GDPR. Hang on, I've mucked something up. So with the Gantt chart and stuff like that, it's in this sort of case. I mucked that up. GDPR wizard.view. All right, straight away we write in our template. We're going to have a card. I'm going to show. I'm just going to put hello world in here at the moment. Not hello world. Hello world. And we're going to write in a script. We're going to export default. Okay, cool. And we've got our name GDPR wizard. All right. We've got our props. They're going to be nothing. In fact, we're going to get rid of that. We've just got that at the moment. It's a simple view component. Nothing fancy at all. We need to register it with our components and apps. So in here, we need to scroll all the way probably towards the top because everything needs to be in alphabetical order. Otherwise, I can never find it. It is hilarious. GDPR wizard equals a defined async component where we are, oops, that was meant to be a capital O, importing a webpack chunk name called GDPR wizard. And this is just going to be components. This is going to be GDPR and then GDPR wizard. We're all happy with that. That's perfectly fine. We're going to close this and we're going to open up our app. We're going to do the exact same thing here. You'll notice that I did the same thing before, but I've reverted it. That's perfectly fine. Under here, we need the GDPR wizard, and then we just go scrolling all the way down here, and we do the same thing right here. GDPR wizard. Realizing that I put it in the wrong spot because G becomes after E, I am going to fix that up very, very quickly. That is, I have not passed grade 1. None of that's in alphabetical order. Okay, cool. Don't come at me that I failed grade 1. I'm trying my hardest. There's Socks. I need to fix this up in the components too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There we go. All right, so we also need to run npm run watch. Otherwise, nothing gets built. And that component isn't found and it is ignored. Now that takes about, I'm going to say 20 seconds on here. We're going over here. We're just going to hit refresh. So we've got our hello world. Perfect. Now we can start feeding stuff into it, which we need to feed into it. So, because this is a wizard, one thing we do need to do is we need the theme. So the theme is going to be get theme. So an easy way to actually do this is we just want to go from NearBeach dot. Ooh, this is, I forgot where it is. I think views, tools, internal functions, get. No, it's not that. All right. From NearBeach.views, dot theme views, import get theme, which is what we want. And then we just go down here and we go get theme. And that's it. So that gets passed through. Now, this is probably one of the more confusing things in NearBeach. So let me just go vbind. Vbind theme equals theme. So we pass that into GDPR wizard, in which case we then got the props, and then we've got the theme prop, and that's going to be the type of string and default equals nothing. That's going to be a capital S. So type of string. Now, when it reaches here, this is where I've got to look up how I did this in other applications. So in get information, if we scroll down to our props, we've got our theme, type string, default light. All right, easy done. And what actually happens is when it gets mounted, we get that information and we plug it into the system. So just double checking that we probably don't. One way to find out is we just hit refresh. We're missing the request. All right, so going back into here, we just go request. So we're passing through the request into the proc. Not the proc, sorry. Passing the request. There we go. We don't need to do anything. Cool. Yeah, we just pass that value down into here, and then what I've got is I've got something that actually goes, all right, cool. If you got the theme, we can grab it from there and all that kind of information. So I've done all the hard work. So that's all done. So we've got our hello world. Now we can start building our card. So we've got our div class equals card and div class equals card body. And then I'm going to add in our hello world in here. We've got to wait. There we go. Perfect. All right. So now we've got that. I'm going to show you a different part of NearBeach very, very quickly. I am going to go new RFC. So we've got a wizard happening, and we're going to probably do the same thing that we did with this wizard. Now, originally, this you see up here, this used to actually be an external library. However, that wasn't supported in Vue 3, and what I've done is I've essentially replicated it here. I've forgotten how I did that. What's not broken, don't fix type of scenario here. So I don't know if I created it just for this particular case or if I can utilize how I've done it. You okay there, Socks? You got something in your ear? Oh, it's okay. It's okay. Come here. Come on. You're shaking your head a lot. You okay. You're getting cuddles, all right? Don't tell anyone else you've been otherwise. All right, cool. So I want to replicate the same thing here. Now, the idea is there's a couple of bits of information that we could sort of delete. So I am just going to go over here again. We're going to do the A's, and I'm going to put Socks down. She's a bit unhappy when you go to clean her ears. She's like, no, stop it. So data to cleanse. So it'll be customer. organization. Now, it's fair to say at the organization level, we'll have to actually close out all the bits of information. Okay, so and I'm trying to also think at the same time, how will I test this with unit tests and it's bringing me to Git tiers. So we've got customer, we've got organization, and we've got user. So the data to delete, customer data, would be the customer and any reference to the customer in any objects assigned to their organization. So what that means is it'll go through any object that has been assigned to their organization, so it won't touch anything else. So for example, let's say I have two projects. Project A, project 1 going for the customer organization, and project 2 that's not related to the customer. If, for example, I've got that customer's name in project 2, that's considered a general fluke because a lot of people have a very common name. Example mine. So yeah, that's why we are doing it like that. So the good news is that each object gets assigned to a organization with the exclusions of requests for changes. So requests for changes, yeah, they won't get assigned to a I'll show you guys what these look like. So it'll be like this. So you got the change lead. This doesn't get connected to any organization whatsoever because it's about deploying something. And that can be independent. You do have stakeholders in here though. So if you do a change task, oh, have I ripped that out? Change task title, date restrictions, date. You just got stakeholders written in there. Yeah, considering this isn't connected to an organization, we can always fall back and say it could be a common name and you could be deleting certain things, which we don't want to. Yeah. And usually that's kept as stakeholders. You wouldn't put it to a single person. All right, so going back to my drawing. So customer data, all right, cool, sweet. Organization data. So we'll need to clear the organization and any reference to the organization in any objects assigned to, to the organization, and then the closure of all objects of that organization. So what actually happens is it really cleans out the system. So it will replace all the data that's associated to that organization, and then it will essentially close those particular objects that are assigned to that organization. It'll just close them. It's the first sort of and best dressed. It just closes them. Idea being, yeah, the idea being is it'll just do it. All right. And remember, there is a human to be in charge of this just before they hit the go live button. The idea being is that human will verify everything before they delete everything. So yeah. Now with the user data, user gets removed from all objects assigned to them. All right, cool. Now this one is also a bit harder. Any reference to the user in any object assigned to them. Remember, we're trying to make the best effort here possible. Yeah, so what will actually happen is user gets removed from all objects ever assigned to them. That's easy done. That's quick, easy. That will be a simple delete sort of situation. That will remove everything from the table. We will then user profile gets scrambled. So it will get scrambled. Any objects created or modified by the user will be updated to someone else. We could potentially delete the user completely. Yeah, so we've got to follow a couple of steps. We've got to make sure that if we delete a user, it doesn't delete any other data, because you don't want projects and tasks to be deleted if you remove a user. All right, I'm having a quick think. I think that's pretty much it at the moment. So yeah, let's start creating the wizard. Let's find out how we used to do the wizard. Let's just get everything sort of set up. We won't finish this tonight. Don't worry. This is a couple of night stream type of situation. Hopefully we finish it by the end of the week. Fingers crossed, touch wood. Sox didn't like that when I tapped her on the head. She's like, no. All right, I am going to see the request for change. We're going to have a look at the request for change wizard. We've got for div, tab index, and tab content. We could potentially do this. All right, easy done. Pass int this current tab equals 0 to, oh, all right, cool. So it looks like we didn't sort of port this out into its own sort of module or anything like that, but that's not a problem here. We have the data. Yeah, we have data. Sorry, no, we don't have data. We have the method of how to do it, and we're gonna nick it, because having this as a wizard will be extremely good. And it's just up at the top, easy done. This is request for change wizard with. I mean, we could potentially sort of move this into its own sort of thing, but I'd rather build it for the other one first, see what's going to be the same and different, and then think about whether or not it is plausible to actually have it as one component and have it as a wizard component. And if it's actually really, really good, we could potentially fully flesh it out and then have it as a package. So yeah. All right. Cool. Let's get into this. Okay. So. We can essentially copy most of this. That will be a duplicate wizard. Alright, so I'm just going a little. RC wizard, where do we get our index from? So the current tab is a proc. Alright, cool, yeah. It's pretty much going to be this, isn't it? But it's just, this is different. Alright, cool. So over here, what we would want to do if we had the wizard is we'll have the object, a max. That we pick. Then we have the search. Then we have the data verification. So that's telling user, hey, this is going to delete the data and all that kind of stuff. Are you 100? Are you? This is actually, no. Data verification is us just being like, all right, cool. This is what is going to be deleted. And then confirmation. So that's going to be the confirmation. What's actually going to happen is the system will record the data, being like this particular person ran it. Or can we actually? It's going to be an audit type of thing. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just having a quick think about, usually when you have something like this, you want a paper trail. But at the same time, having that paper trail goes against the GDPR and stuff like that. And I'm thinking, if I have a paper trail being like this person deleted this particular, for example, if it was a user, we'll put in the old user number being like this particular old user number with the name, and then have just like the first character of their name and the initials. That could potentially be okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Yeah. Yeah, there's that. But if you got someone who's running these multiple times, you kind of want that sort of at least little tiny bit of paper trail. Because if someone screwed up and started doing something malicious, you want proof of their maliciousness. So yeah, we're nowhere near that step at the moment to actually give a definitive answer. Maybe use the user ID. I like that. Yeah, the user ID would work perfectly fine, because that's not connected to, once the user's deleted, that's not connected to any username, email, or anything like that. And I think in this sort of particular case, yeah, deleting that user would be justifiable. Once again, we've got to move all the other objects, if they've created any or anything like that, onto a different user. And it most likely will be the very first administrator in the system. Which is easy to get. That's just us doing a simple call for that. And in fact, we would put that in the data verification or the confirm action screen, where we would be like, oops, I was meant to do something like, Down here, for deletion of users, we confirm which admin will take the creation / modification user fields for any objects. So yeah, because the one thing is we've got Cascade in NearBeach, so if you actually delete a user, it actually deletes all the projects or all the objects that the user has created or modified, which is not what we want. And we're probably going to be looking at that again when we look at the database at 032. So that will probably be a discussion then. All right, so going with this. All right. I'm having a look at this very, very quickly. Essentially, the CSS will be the same. Everything here will be the same. That's, yeah. All right, but I've called it RFC Wizard, and here I've just called this the GDPR Wizard because we're, yeah, all right. So I've now moved on to this. I can easily put that wizard in here and then extrapolate it out later and have my own sort of wizard library potentially. Yeah, that would be good. Anyway, let's get back into this. I'm getting distracted like this now tomorrow. So new requests for change ones and all of that like that. So we're going to do the same thing. It's going to be like this. All right, what I'm going to do. I am probably going to rename stuff. So this is GDPR Wizard. Oh, it is a wizard though. That's the problem, and I can't have the wizard. Sorry, this is one of those just annoying things. All right, let's actually find this. So the reason why I did that was I jumped into here to have a look at it. We've got this as red and stuff like that. I might actually change this to be something different. We've got ads again on Twitch. So for those wondering on YouTube why I'm doing this, we run ads on Twitch every half an hour, so no one gets pre-rolled ads when you jump into Twitch. So yeah, you guys don't get to do anything. Sorry, you guys don't get ads. Some people don't get ads on Twitch, but that's a different thing. So yeah, don't worry. I do this so no one misses out on any content. However, we are going to discuss what should I call this? The wizard, or should I just call it steps? I think that's an idea. GDPR wizard steps. That way it's definitive and stuff like that. We'll probably actually edit the CSS so it will show different colors. I think this should be the color blue. There is some reason behind that. It's some reasoning behind that. The idea being is someone who reads, looks at the blue and stuff like that, they're like, oh yeah, I've got to plan this a bit better. Apparently. I'm not sold on the psychology around it, but yeah. It also just make it distinct from requests for changes. So in case you're using NearBeach quite a lot, sometimes pages will look the same and you make a mistake and you're just like, oh. So yeah. All right. And are we back? Yeah, I think we are back. Yeah, all right, cool. So what I'm going to do, I am actually going to copy this. I'm going to paste it into here. We are going to call it GDPR wizard steps. And we're going to change RFC to GDPR. In a second. We've also got to create some CSS around it. Once again, we'll just copy the RFC wizard sort of stuff. It's going to be probably the exact same sort of code. Yeah, I won't be too worried about it. Let's just say that. All right, so going with this, we are... Okay. Let's go GDPR wizard steps. Is he done? So we've got the number. We just need to go into here. We just need to create our thing. So what our names were was object, search, data verification, confirmation. Okay, easy done. And once again, we might change these up and all that kind of stuff. Now, up here, we want GDPR wizard loading bar. All right, cool. I'm just getting rid of this GDPR. And that onion, how are you? Yes, I'm having a fine day, thank you very much. Hopefully you are also having a very fine day. So yeah, we're getting through this slowly. We are figuring this out, how we want to tackle the problem. So, not a problem. Easy done. So a lot of this will be the same. Yeah, a lot of this will be exactly the same, which will be good. This will need to copy. So we've got to go down into our Sass. Go into our components. We've got to go and change the RFC wizard. We're going to go copy. I don't think that copied it then. We're going to click copy. We're going to right hand click. We're going to paste. GDPR wizard. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to do a find and replace. I am lazy, so I'm going to do it like that. RFC GDPR replace all. I'm happy. I'm just going to give it a once through. Now the background color and border color. Once again, I wanted to make this blue. I like that blue. Three, 1, 5, EEE. 315 EEE. All right, so that's all good. Now, what we need to do is in that one we're fine with, this one we're fine with. This one, we just need to put it in. So we need to go GDPR wizard steps, I'm gonna add it in like that. GDPR wizard sounds wild. I wish it is. I wish it is. So current tab will equal, and then we're gonna have a data point in here. So we're gonna have data, that's a function like that, and it returns, we're gonna have current tab, and that will be a 0 to start off with. So that will be literally current tab. You curse yourself with data removal. Fair enough. Fair enough. That's why we're taking this very, very slowly. And I'll get other people to look over my work too. So the idea being is we get the user to search for the particular user. We present data to the user with the ability to opt out on certain fields. So for example, there might be false positives. So the user can search through the data and be like, all right, cool, here's a false positive. We'll keep this one out. And so forth like that. Or they themselves might look at it and be like, some of it's a false, like there might be a couple of names in there and the system just picks up a couple of false positives. However, there's some potential positives. So for example, in the description, there might be the customer's name and then a name or something similar. So then the user could be like, oh, hold on a moment, I'm going to edit this record to manually remove that. And then they run it again and go, no, all that's left is a false positives. I'm going to ignore that one. So yeah, that's the idea. And that will happen on the data verification step. So yeah. This is also, we're not going to make this happen on mobile phone. So we'll probably get rid of the card and utilize the full screen. So yeah, this definitely should not work on mobile phone, and I'll probably include a little warning thing like this is not designed on mobile phone. Please don't use a computer for this. But yeah. All right. So we've just included that. So we're happy. We've got the current tab passing through. I need to actually look at what data is being ported down. So I'm going to put that there. We've just got current tab. Perfect. So default 0. That's going to be the start of it. So we're defaulting 0. Remember, we'll have next and so forth like that in here. We'll do that next. So yeah. So I'm going to close this. I'm happy with this. I'm going to close it. I'm going to close this, and I'm going to close this. So we're just working with these tabs at the moment. We do need to, in the main, include that component. All right, so going up here with the GDPR wizard, we're just going to hit refresh. There's our lovely, lovely design. So, yep, we're just going to wait for it to compile properly. So, yeah, it takes a little while whenever we're doing the SAS. All right, it might take a little longer than I thought. GDPR wizard. All right, looks like I've mucked something up. Not a problem. We're going to jump into our GDPR wizard. So we've got GDPR wizard dot. We don't have anything on the GDPR wizard, nor the loading bar. I am concepting a free-to-use data platform for Internet of Things hobbyists. I have some plans for data removal also, but since it's a free service, there will also be automatic cleanup to keep it small. Fair enough, yes. Yeah, so if you have users that haven't been there for several years, you're like, hey, we're just going to remove your data. Fair enough. I know I think MailChimp does that too. Because I was going to use MailChimp, and then I never used it, and then they sent me a thing being like, yeah, we're just removing you. And I'm like, alright, I never used you anyway. So, yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting distracted with the cube. I'm just going to hit refresh just in case. There we go. I just needed to wait that extra little bit. Now, this is where the hard coding came in before, because as you see, this line doesn't line up exactly with this one. It's because it just doesn't. So, that's because of maths. So, we go in here, and I love maths. So, progress width, that plus the edge component will be the width, any length between the circles is that percent. Now, I know I calculated this out one day, and there is a way to do it. Now, you might be thinking, ooh, this is hard. You got 2 halves and then 1, 2, 3 holes. Well, what you do is you got 4 holes, and the ends just split up. So, this then becomes on progress width equals. So, if we've got 4, that's 25%. If we've got 8, that is 12.5%. So my guess is 12.5 plus, that would be then 25 times this dot current tab. I think that's it. That should take not that long to actually compile. There we go. Done. That's it. That's the math behind it. Rename from A to progressive width. Yeah, alright. I don't know why I have that note still in there. But yeah, that works perfectly fine. And we can do it mathematically also depending on how many table of contents we have. So for example, we could be like 100 divided by this equals this particular value, and then we just do half of that and stuff like that. That could be easily done down here. It could also be done if we feed these through in a proc, actually calculated on in the data tab on import. So yes. All right. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. All right. Yeah. All right. Cool. We got the wizard going, which is great news. So what we need to do now is we need to start getting everything in here and figure out how we did that. So I'm going to minimize everything. I'm going to open up this. I'm going to open up source. I'm going to open up JavaScript. I'm going to open up the components. I'm going to open up the request for change, and I'm going to open up new requests for change. Now, some of you might be asking, why are you doing that? Why are you going back to what you've already done and instead of knowing what you did and just refiguring it out? Well, the reason why I'm going back is I want things to be consistent. So straight off the bat, I can see I've forgotten to do this. I need to actually do this right now. Because any sort of component that I use will not carry that theme. So we're going to go back into the GDPR wizard. We're going to go boom like this. We are going to go boom like that. We're going to also do this like that, and done. Now we'll need to use that in that theme. So what we'll need to do is, that's actually a composition. Composable, sorry. That is the composable. So we're just going to copy that one little line for the composables. We're just going to do this, and we're going to go, all right, composable. We also need to sort of state that we're using that composable. So if you double click on this and you actually scroll down, we've got the, and Ivanhoe, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. We have it down here in the methods. So what we need to do is methods, we open that up, and then we just go use NB theme, and that's it. So yeah, welcome back Ivanhoe, hopefully you've been going well. Alright, so got this kind of set up. So we're going to go back in here for another look at what we're doing. You're doing fine, just came back from walking the dog. Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Socks won't let me walk her. And congratulations on 57.29 for the drop. Being that Nightbot, which I'm happy about. So we've got the wizard. Now, we've got it in one line up here, and that's perfectly fine in one line. I thought there were going to be multiple lines in here, so I'm going to also do the same thing. We also have a H1. So being consistent with this, we've got a H1. We're going to put this over here for reference, just so I don't miss anything. So we've got a H1. This will be the GDPR wizard. And then we've just got a simple H like that. And then we got that. And then we've got each step here. So I'm just going to key them in right now whilst I kind of remember. So I'd forgotten already. So we've got object search, data verification, and confirmation. And data verification, I just realized I haven't put it in a space. I'm going to do that right now. So that just go in here. We just go down here and we just go. Whoop. All right. Doing fine. What do you mean? Dogs don't let you walk them? No, I meant Socks won't let me walk her. Socks is a cat. She's like, don't you dare walk me. She'll be really angry too. She'll be like. That's her I'm not walking face. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't have a dog. So, yeah. And give Socks treats. Alright, let's do it. It's a good enough time to have a little break. Alright, Socks knows what's happening. She's like, I'm already in bed. Yeah, if you don't move, you get the treats right in front of you, Socks. So, yeah. Ooh, that onion with a 91.75. Congrats. Stay. I want you to realize you actually don't need to get out of your bed. Yeah, it's very. Oh, do you have the treat? Oh no, that's the. Oh, that's the cat toy. Were you cuddling the cat toy? Oh, you can cuddle the cat toy. It is a really weird cat toy. I don't know what this is. I found it like a long time ago. Like I bought it for Toby Tripod. That's how long ago. A dog's got into it and it lost a leg and part of its arm and stuff like that. So, yeah. Okay, so we've got all that set up. Gonna hit data verification, confirmation, so object search, data verification. Yeah, we'll comment those out in a second. So the idea being, I was gonna hope it was gonna comment them. Oh, I hate when this happens. All right, are you saying hi to Ivanhoe? There you go, Speedy. Yeah. Alright, so what we've got here is we're going to have each of the components for those. So much like how we've done it over here, we'll have separate components for those. We'll have, we won't need a UID passing through, but we'll probably extract out certain values. So for example, with the on data, we'll need some data coming through to be like, alright, cool, yep, done. If we go down, we've got our navigations down here. So we've got our previous, next, and so forth like that. We'll be creating those next. Thank you, Socks. Thank you. Don't know what to expect. I don't know what... I knew it was going to happen. And I thought, no, she's not going to knock the camera off again. All right, there we go. Oh, I knocked over the water bottle. Back in. All right. So yeah, we'll do the same thing here. We'll tend to do these steps first, so we actually have the upper components done first. That way we can focus more time on the smaller components. Stop knocking the camera off. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it. Cam drop. Yeah, I know. She's really good at the cam drops. And that and standing in the way of my video feedback. So, yeah. Alright. I think that's a good frame. That's good framing. Alright. I didn't try this framing, but hey, it works really well. Alright, so going in here, we are going to go with the GDPR over here. We're just going to go like this. We're going to go navigation. We've got a simple HR. We know there will be simple HR. So div class equals row, submit row. In here, we've got the div class equals col md 12. That will cover the whole row. We'll have previous. That will be a simple button class. A button btn primary v on click equals previous tab, which we'll have to key in. She is very majestic. She not only looks majestic, she is majestic. If current tab doesn't equal 0. And then we'll just say that's previous. And then we've got the next button. Button class equals btn primary save changes. V on click equals next tab, and then v if current tab does not equal 4. And that will be next. So yeah, I've got to think how I can make this generic as possible. Also, if I were to turn this into a VueJS library, how I would turn this into a VueJS library is the main key to that. So yeah. Okay, I'm just getting distracted with the cube. So we've got our next, and then we've got our submit. So button class equals btn primary, save changes, easy done. No, not quite. So I've got to go v on click equals submit GDPR. VF equals current tab equals 4. And then vbind disabled equals disable submit button. All right. Now, the reason why the button would be disabled, so with the first object, we'll get them to search for All right, so thinking of this, the user has a choice. They select their choice, they get another choice. So for example, if they select customer, we'll get a list of all the customers. If they select organization, actually, if they select customer, we'll then make them select the organization and then the customer. With holy hell, Nightbot, that was really, really fast at 54.29. Holy hell. If the yeah, sorry, I'm trying to think this out and my brain's just going all over the shop. So a user's doing a GDPR wizard. They come in, they go, all right, cool, I want to remove a customer. They select the object that they want to remove is a customer. The next question asked is organization. For the customer's organization, they select, I want to remove the customer's organization. Then, sorry, just they want to select the organization the customer works with, and then they select the customer. Then and only then are they able to get to the next button. All right, cool. Yes. All right, so the idea is we don't want the user hitting next, and getting to the confirmation screen and there's no data or anything like that. Actually, on the object, they'll be collecting which object they'll... Sorry, I'm just thinking out aloud, and I'm just realizing there might be a couple of permutations for this. Alright, so with the object, we select if it's a customer or organization. Then we go next, or a user. On the search, it will show the appropriate wizard. So if it is the customer, we'll search for a customer. If it is a organization, it will search for an organization. And we'll have the details all in a single drop-down box with information and so forth like that. And then when they select the correct information, we'll pop up being like, all right, cool, this is the information. You go to the next data verification screen. In the data verification screen, we'll fetch the data. Yeah, I'm just having a good think about this. And we've got an ad break. I might move this before we... Alright, there we go. For those on YouTube, we run ads every half an hour on Twitch so people don't get rolled ads. So that's where you join a Twitch channel and you have 3 minutes of ads and you're just like, ugh. We don't like them. So we have to run the ads to stop that. Don't worry, you don't get any ads. Whilst that's actually happening, we sold the Rubik's Cube. Yay. Cool. So, yeah. Alright, so this is just us designing it sort of phase, us playing around with it in our head, getting it out, seeing what it looks like, and yeah, making sure it works. So, yeah, alright. Doing this as quickly as possible. Easy done. Alright. How are we with the ads? 15 seconds. Okay, almost done. Yeah, we only do a minute 30. I'm not doing 3 minutes of ads every hour. I will actually, no, I am doing that at the moment. What I mean is in one giant block every hour. And welcome back, everyone. All right, let's jump back into it. So the object will select the object. The search will search for the object. We'll probably have a drop-down box, and then we'll have some information. If it's a user, we'll grab that user's information. If it's a, and we can use the API to do that, which is going to be great news for us. So if it's a customer, we can grab the customer details and so forth like that, and then we just shape it how we need it to. That won't be hard to do because all the fields will be all the same. Oh, that's a lie. We'll just have specific renders. I'll think of a way of how to do it. Don't worry. So, what do I need to do? All right, in here, let's start doing stuff. So I'm going to hit that. We've got the next. We don't actually have any of these working at the moment, so we're going to go down to the methods and we're going to have a look. So the props. The components, now the components should actually be separated like that. That's how I like it, and in alphabetical order. So the props, we don't need to worry about group results or anything like that. When we get the data, all right, I'm thinking a little bit too ahead. So we'll only have 3 options. All right, cool. So in the data, we've got current tab. What we want to do is we want to select object. So we're going to go object picked, or picked object. And at the moment, that's going to be blank. And that's perfectly fine. So if someone moves forward and the object is still blank and stuff like that, we'll be like, hey, go back to the first step and do that step. Actually, no, now that I say that out loud, I think we did something to stop that from happening, but that's perfectly fine. We do need the root URL. This is of type string, and default is going to be just that. Now, the reason why we need the root URL is we're set up NearBeach so that you can actually nest it inside your own project and give it its own sort of URL and all that kind of stuff. We need the root URL to be like, all right, cool, this is where NearBeach is housed. All the calls and stuff like that for the API and this and that will be using that URL. So we've got root URL equals, and then that will be, actually it won't be that, it will be this, and then it will be URL dashboard. Now static URL. I don't think we are using the static URL for anything. So that's all the sort of JavaScript and all that kind of stuff. All of those calls for the JavaScript and so forth like that are handled elsewhere. I'm not worried about that. The theme we're passed through, the user permissions, we're at that point where we've checked the user permissions at a higher level. We're not worried about that at all. UUID, we're not worried about that at all because no one's uploading anything. All right, cool. Emits on complete. We're not doing that. The data, current tab, we've got disable, submit button. Yeah, we're gonna probably need that. Just in case. If it's one of those sort of things that we're not changing anywhere else, we'll just rip it out of the system. We don't need any of that data at the moment, but we do have picked object, which is good. Validation data, ooh. this is how we do it. We validate it before we move it. Now it's coming back how we did it. We did it in a clever way, but it's a bit of a tricky way. So the idea is we hit the validation, but we wait for everything to be validated. And then we go through. So if you go down here, this validation data, current tab equals false. If we do that. So it's all false by default. It's only the first tab which is meant to be valid. And it's only got one field in there. So it's as simple as checking to make sure that we've actually got a valid field. But then again, we don't have the data and we don't know what tab it's on and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm going to use this validation data again. So we've got tab 0, that's going to be false. Tab 1, that's going to be false. Tab now, the other tabs we don't need to worry about. So it's only the first two tabs where the user's picking something. And then actually, no, I lied. Tab is going to be false. The reason being is tab 1. Yeah, the reason being is if there is no data there whatsoever, that is invalid. It just means that, hey, don't move forward, don't do this, don't run this, and so forth like that. And then we got the final one. All right. Okay. Oh, that's props. Whoops, my bad. There we go. Okay, with the methods, we've got that. All right, so we've got display tab in here. So I'm gonna have a quick look. All right, cool. Yeah, we've evined on the style and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we do want this actually showing. So what we want to do is definitely do that. So display tab, we've got the tab ID, easy done. So if the pass int of the tab ID equals pass int of this dot current tab. Oops, I've been doing a lot of C# today, so we want to display this tab, return nothing. We want to hide this tab. We return display none. It's done. With the next tab, do nothing if tab is greater or equal to 4. So if this dot current tab is greater or equal to 4, return, easy done. What does that mean? It's you can't have tabs 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and so forth like that because we're just limited this number. Yeah. All right. So I'm getting distracted with the Rubik's Cube again. Okay, so what we want to do is then validate the current tab. If this dot validation data, and then we've got the tab underscore, and then we've got this dot current tab with backticks equals false. Notify the user of the unvalidated data and return. This is pretty easy. So what we're doing is we're sending we're dispatching a new post command. What we're saying is the header will be like, please check your inputs. Message, sorry, we are being told that some of the data is not valid. This is extra classes, and this will be a background danger, and the delay will be 1500. So it'll disappear. Do nothing. So, easy done. Then, validate the validation has passed. Move the user to the next tab. So this dot current tab equals this dot current tab plus 1. Pretty easy. That just moves the user on. Scroll to the top. So go.scroll to top 0 behavior. Cool. Easy done. Previous tab. So once again, we've got to check do nothing if tab is less than or equals 0. That's just makes sense. So this dot current tab is less than or equal to 0. Just return, just do nothing. Move to previous tab. So this dot current tab equals this dot current tab minus 1. There we go. Not a problem. Now the next one is going to be submit GDPR. We're going to have to go add code. So we'll figure this one out a little bit later, but that's not a problem. The other ones should work perfectly fine. Update validation. That one's triggering update the value. Yeah, so that gets sent from the bottom up. So this dot validation data.tab equals data.value. All right, so each component will actually emit up a value. That will be like, all right, cool, I'm updating the validation. And then what we'll do is we'll link that into this particular method and it'll update it. And then update values. So I don't think we'll need this one just yet. It might be something that we come back to, because when we submit, we might need that data that we're submitting. Yeah, so I've got to think about stuff. Oh, and I just dropped the cube again. I'm going to leave it out for the moment because I can always come back and add it in. Yeah, because once again, we've got that one step where we'll allow the user to unselect something. Like if they are like coming through and they're like, oh, this is a false positive, they can unselect it for deletion. So that way, we can be happy. All right. Let's just do this. All right, I am just going to hit refresh. we've broken something already. So undetermined regular expression literal. Unterminated reg. Oh. Oh no. Let's say it's this one. It shouldn't be that one. That one's terminated. Alright. Tell you what. We're just going to do that. Still doing it. Not a problem. It just means it wasn't that one. Alright, so... Does it say what line? Console. It says it in the compiled version. It doesn't say what line. 1423. No. Alright. GDPR wizard. Alright, no, I've got it up further. So it is in the template. I've probably done it wrong there. So we're going to quickly have a look at what I've done elsewhere. So we're going for we go into NearBeach. We open up the templates. We open up the NearBeach. We go to, let's say, organizations. Let's say organization information. Yeah, all right, cool. I needed these. Sorry, that was simple. I forgot that. This actually needs to be in a string. So yeah, easy done. We've just fixed it. We just hit refresh. Everything's in there. So now if we go next, sorry, we've been told that some of the data is not valid. That's perfectly fine. What we'll need to do is we will now need to create those components and so forth like that. So this is the first step of our wizard. I'm going to move this to the right so you guys can see. I want to look up a little bit more information because I think this card's going to be very, very restricted with the information. We actually want it to take over the whole screen where possible. So we're going to go get Bootstrap. We're going to go into our docs. We're going to have a look down here for our card component because searching up here at the moment gives us this, which is not relevant. So we're clicking on our card component and I want to see sizing. Cards have no specific width to start, so they'll be 100% wide unless otherwise stated. All right, cool. So this probably means I could use one of the wider templates within NearBeach. So NearBeach actually has some wider templates out there. Let's actually implement that right now. So I'm going to minimize this. I'm going to open up NearBeach. I'm going to open up our NearBeach template. I'm going to open up NearBeach again. We've got our... if we have a look in here, extends partials template. So we open up partials and we've got template wide. We also have template wide empty. What that means is it gets rid of this down at the bottom. That I'm going to keep. There's a couple of templates we don't need that at the bottom, for example the Kanban board, because it was annoying users having that at the bottom of the Kanban board because it would, yeah, it just annoyed them. All right, so we've got the GDPR wizard. Now this is a wide card base sort of thing. So we're going to have to add in some special classes into here. So we're going to have a wizard card and we're going to add in a bit of padding around. So in here, we're going to go GDPR wizard. We're going to scroll up. We're going to go wizard GDP PR. We already have one for wizard. So I'm just going to go wizard card. And then we're going to jump into our SAS. Hey, Socks. Just give me a sassy look at the moment, being like, you didn't need to do that. I was like, yeah, I did. So, GDPR wizard. Up at the top, we're just gonna, this will be a separate thing. GDPR wizard card. We're just gonna leave it like that at the moment, realizing that this is probably gonna take a couple of minutes to sort of compile anyway, and I haven't really figured out how I want this. So I'm just gonna do element, and I'm gonna do margin. Let's do 50 pixels, and then 10 pixels. I think that's good. I think that lines everything up on here. Yeah, that's it. I think that's perfect. So now that we've got that, let's actually start adding in our little tiny components. So up here, we've got object. So I am going to go this components. Brain just starting to shut down a little. GDPR at the top. So much like the request for change, so we've got the modules and we've got the tabs. We're going to actually do that same thing here. So we're going to create a directory and we're going to call it tabs. We won't need the modules in there at all. We're going to go file new and we're going to go and call it GDPR wizard object. Yeah, object. And then we're going to have GDPR wizard search. These are going to be .view. Give me a couple of seconds. Sorry, I've made a mistake. Refactor, rename .view. Rename, easy done, .view, done, easy. We all make mistakes. I make them really silly. Data for verification, I'm just going to copy this because it's just going to be 10 times easier if I just do that, and then I can just delete the search and go data verification. And then we want confirmation. And then we want, whoa, sucks, be careful with your tail. That's it. We've got the 4 components there, so easy done. Let's set up those components. I'm going to close that one. I'm just going to open up all 4. So we've got this. We're going to go template. We're going to, just in, at the moment, we're going to go H1 wizard data verification. We don't need much more than that. Then we need our script, export default, and then we need name is going to be the GDPR wizard data verification. That's it. And then we're going to go to the next one. We're going to go template. We're going to go, once again, we're just putting this in. So wizard object, easy done. We're changing this in a minute. It doesn't need to be exact. So export default. And then we just need the name to be GDPR wizard object. That's pretty much it. And then with this one, we need the template. Socks is back staring at the screen. We need the template. This will be the H1 wizard search. Export default name GDPR GDPR wizard search. Why does that happen? I don't understand why that happens sometimes. So template, H1, wizard confirmation. Oh, not style. Script, export default name, GDPR wizard confirmation. Okay, cool. Now, I'm happy with that. Hopefully you guys are happy with that. We need to just import this all as up in, not into the wizard steps. That one, I'm pretty sure we're done with that one, so I'm just gonna close it. So in here, we just need to actually start importing it. So GDPR wizard object, like so. That will get automatically imported into here. We'll fix up everything in a second. GDPR wizard. This will be search. Is done. And Ivanhoe, you are killing it tonight with another 52.86. GDPR wizard. Data verification. Oh, didn't I do this one? I am GDPR wizard. Data verification. I thought I did it. I must have done a spelling mistake. Most likely GPDR, which it ain't. All right, incoming ad break. I wish they changed the colors for those things because there's been times I've just read ad break. Confirmation, GDPR wizard confirmation. All right, cool, easy done. All right, going through here. That should now render everything on here. So yeah, it does. That's great. What we want to do now, so we want to vbind the style equals, and this is where I'm like, oh, what was our method called again? Display tab. And we just key in the tab number, like so. All right, so we need to go vbind style equals display tab, and then we go 1, and we're like, all right, cool. Vbind style equals display tab. 2. I know those ads are going to start any second now. All right. I don't know. It has been actually quite a while. All right. Cool. So we've got all the display tabs out now. We should only see one result in here. Done. Perfect. If we actually open up and codes, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. If we open up this and open up the view, and I am going to be cheeky, I'm going to click on this and I'm going to be like, all right, current tab, huh? It's going to be a 1, a 2, and a negative. We can see that this works perfectly. We are manipulating it to work, but that's perfectly fine. And we've just hit our, I forgot what number, ad break today. All right, we see sucks. How is everyone going? Hopefully going well. She's constantly standing in front of my second. So I use my iPad as a monitor type of thing, a video feedback sort of thing, because there's been countless times I have left the ad screen on. All right, it's all my fault. I just am like, let's get back into it, and I never click on the workstation scene at all, and I'm just like, oh well, I was talking half an hour, no one mentioned it, so yeah. Yeah, the feedback screen's just for that. Nocturnal, how are you going? Hopefully you're going well. I've got to do... I'm just thinking if I do a release tonight, because I know I've ported in your code and I've checked it, and I've, yeah, everything's sort of in the develop branch at the moment. So I might do a release tonight. I told you I got... No! Owen, you got hired? Awesome! Welcome back, everyone. Congratulations! That's awesome news. No, you didn't tell me. But no, that's awesome. Front-end Shopify dev? Nice. Nice. Congratulations. Sorry, Socks was also sitting in front of the screen then, and I couldn't actually read the text you were sending me, so there was a massive pause. That's because Socks once again sat in front of my iPad, which is my feedback monitor. I have chat on these scenes, but I don't have chat on the when I'm on OBS. So yeah. All right. Going in here. Spent last week running A/B tests. Still waiting to hear about my official contractor. Oh, okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, good luck. Hopefully onboarding's smooth on current onboarding. Sweet, sweet. So yeah, that's exciting news. And once you got the foot in the door and doing something and stuff like that, like you might need to stay there for a couple of years. And from there, people are like, oh, okay, cool, you were doing this and stuff like that. Oh, that's sweet. All right, so we've got this working. Of course, it doesn't. Next doesn't work, but we can always go in here and be like, ha 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 ha. Actual experience, finally, yeah, yeah. And remember, always upskill yourself too at the same time, because if you're like, oh yeah, we didn't use this technology, but you know, I found it interesting and I started researching it and stuff like that, that's going to look good. All right. So, with the GPR wizard object, this is where we've got to start doing this stuff. So I'm going to close everything that we don't need at the moment. We're going to focus on one thing at a time. Oh, and Nocturnal, I don't know if you heard me before. Going to a release tonight. It's going to release your code. The one where you put the first login details and all that kind of stuff into the utilities. So I'm going to do that in probably half an hour, I want to say, if I remember. Yeah, I checked it out on the weekend, and yeah, I'm happy. So yeah, we'll get that out. There's no bug fixes for this particular release, but that's fine. I think there will be a couple of library updates anyway, which we want to deploy with. So we've got wizard object. We don't need this anymore. So the idea here is, oh, and I just realized that, give me a second, let me actually push this out very quickly. So class equals, let's go row, we've got a div class equals col md4, and then let's say we've got strong instructions, and then we've got a, whoops, I was meant to click that button, some instructions in text. I am going to go class equals text instructions. Easy done. And then we've got a div class equals col md8, and then we've got some fields in here. So the reason why I've done that very, very quickly is just to test out one thing. I was on Mac all along on the keyboard. I need to get a secondary keyboard. So in a lot of NearBeach, you'll see this layout, and we've kept it here. Okay, cool. So I'm going to keep it over here too with the GDPR wizard. So we'll have in the instructions, and we'll have some fields over there and so forth like that. Now, usually it'll be like this because we're not using the full screen width in this sort of case, because we're dealing with let me just think. We're dealing with this on... Sorry. Brain just went off the rails. Because GDPR wizard needs all that space, this will also require all this space. We need to actually also add in a little warning, be like, please use this on... Now, we don't have a high desktop, I don't think. Yeah, we don't. Alright, so... I'm just going to go on here, high desktop. Collapse, off campus, tooltips, no. Alright. CSS hide when screen is large. Alright, I'm just going to do this. I'm going to hide div when the screen size is smaller. Alright, you can do this with CSS. Alright, cool. Okay. Media only and screen and max width. All right. So we want to create a div class alert info. We're going to add in a bit of CSS and style and all that kind of stuff in here, so it'll hide it when we're on a small screen. Please use a large monitor for monitor as... Be careful, socks. As... Alright, what I'm trying to say is you want to use a larger monitor because there's a lot of data to observe and sort of go through. Please use a large monitor as there is a large amount of data to process. Doing this task on a small screen is considered hard. I won't say, yeah, hard / annoying. All right, so at the moment that will just appear like this. Goes above that. Oh. I'm going to put it under. Yeah, I like that. Please use it. All right, cool. And now we're just going to hide it. So what we want to do is GDPR wizard alert, and we're going to go over into this. So under the card, what we want to do, we want anything that has a big screen. So this will be at media only and at screen. Oh, how is it? Sorry, I keep forgetting how to do this. At media only and screen. Is it and screen? Media only screen. And this will be the min width. This is where I muck it up. I'm going to do 765 pixels. And then I'm going to put in the dot alert G. Sorry, my brain is just not paying attention. I'm just going to copy that. That's just going to be easier. Less mistakes. Hidden display is none. Now we've got to wait a little while. Sorry, this takes a little while to do its SAS. Sorry, this one problem. SAS is slow here. So perfect. It doesn't do anything. And then when I'm just going to bump this off to the right. And then as we shrink the page, boom, it pops in. So I got that right. I'm happy with that. What I want to do is have a look at sizes. And what I mean by that is I want to have a look at the Bootstrap breakpoints. So we're just going to go up, introduction, content, JavaScript, Webpack, Parcel. All right, customize, SAS, color modes, CS verifications, layout, breakpoints. That's what I want. So we probably want 1200 pixels. 1199, I should say. And that should give enough people. That will take actually ages to compile. Sorry, got to give it. There we go. It hadn't finished. So that should give people enough space on here. Yeah, that's. I've got to do 1200. Sorry, it's inclusive. So yeah, that will work perfectly fine. Okay. So let's add in some instructions now. So much like the RFC, we've got the description. We're going to have a description. We're going to have an instruction on this page too. There's going to be one field on this page, which is the drop down. We'll implement that in a second, but first let's actually get the instructions in. So description. Now double checking that with the RFC, we've got it not all in capitals. So description. And then in here, the GDPR wizard is designed to replace and remove any data associated with any user/customer. Please note this cannot be undone. And it should only be used when issued a GDPR takedown. All right, cool. So that's one particular description. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go and strong instructions. P class equals text instructions. And then we're going to write in, please pick which object you would like to remove from the system. You can remove either customer, organization, or a user. And that should be it. So with this particular data down here, what we want to do is, are we pulling down props? We are probably not pulling down any props or anything like that. So I'm just having a good think. I'm pretty sure we're not pulling down any props, but we are emitting stuff up. So we emit, we're going to go update. Oh, it's going to be like this. So it'll be update object, like that. And we're happy with that. Methods, we'll definitely have some methods. We'll definitely have data. So that will be a return, and that will be essentially, we'll have object results. There'll be nothing. We'll also have object choices. That will be an array. And we're just going to go into the array right now. So we've got naive UI. We want components. We want a simple drop down. Actually, no, we need a, sorry. A simple select, not a drop down. One of these. We just show the code. So the options down here, we've got label and value. All right, cool. That's all we need. Oh, is it in? No, it'll be like this, label. And what we'll have is we'll have customer, value, customer, label, organization, value, organization. And then lucky last one, label, user. Easy done. Okay, so then up here, it's just an end select. We'll need to import the stuff in here. So we go import end select from naive UI. Done. That's it. Oh, and we need that as a component. Easy done. So that's all set up. And then we've got all this, and then we do this, and then we go n select. We go options equals. It should be object. Sorry, it should be like that. Element OPQR. Yep. That's still in alphabetical order. Object. And then what we need here is we need vModel value. And that will be object results. Okay, cool. So following that, that's pretty easy. And then we just go like this to do that. And then if we actually have a look over here, that will appear here. We'll do a proper labeling and all that kind of stuff. Now I realized that, yeah, dark mode isn't passing through here. So yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry, a bit of a yawn. Trying to remember how I do that. Because up here we should be passing through this theme, and that should be passing down throughout everything. Alright, not a problem. We also want to, very much like any drop down, we want a label at the top. So here we want a div class equals form group, We're going to move that. We're going to place it in here. We're going to have a label up here, and we're going to call it selected object. Refresh the wrong page. So we've got selected object, and yeah, that's... If we have a look in here, we've done that drop down like right here, and as you see, it works there. I've mucked up somewhere. So we're going to actually do that right now. We're going to fix that up right this second. So, how did I do this? I'm just going to inspect this page. Actually, I'm going to view the page source. I'm sorry, this is going to... I can't do that in here, can I? GPR wizard. Yeah, it just does that. Alright. Let me bump that off to the left. Let me do the view. Let's go GDPR wizard. We do have theme. Oh. I'm not passing the theme through correctly. Okay, that's it. That's probably the mistake. So theme. We should be passing the theme through correctly. If I once again go and view page source and scroll all the way down to the bottom, we are passing. All right. Now I see it. It's a silly mistake again. This needs to be in quotation marks. That's it. Done. See that? That was me being silly. We all do silly mistakes. So we got this. So GDPR, the GDPR wizard is designed to replace, remove. I might actually include a lot more information in here about this. I might get some help with the wording, but that's fine. So the instant we pick something, we want that to update. So what we want to do is in here, we want to add in a watch. So we're going to have a watch. This is an object, if memory serves me correctly, and we want to watch the object results. Hang on, I'm double checking that. Yeah, I got that correct. So what we need to do is we need to find out if it's empty or not. If it's empty, by some miracle or something like that, we have to send upstream that, hey, this isn't valid at all. Okay, so before we do that, let's go into GDPR wizard. Let's check the validation one. So we scroll all the way down here. We've got the update validation. So we're going to go in here. We're going to go, oh yeah, actually we're going to do that. And we're going to go update validation. Easy done. So this $emit update validation, and that's going to be an object. And then in the object itself, we know that it's going to have a tab and value. So tab will be 0, and the value is going to be a boolean. And that boolean is going to be if something contains something or not. So if it's empty, all right, cool. Sometimes it's easier to do this. So So we go const condition 1 equals this dot object results does not equal that. All right. And then we've got a const. Sorry, it's meant to be here. It'll be const condition 1 equals object this dot object results does not equal that, and const condition 2 equals this dot object results does not equal null. Okay, so we've got to actually check for both of those conditions, and they're both got to be true. So condition 1 and condition 2. Make sure the object result is has a value. All right, cool. So that's it. And then all we need to do is this $emit update object. Now we're updating it. We're sending it upstream because the next tab will use it. In fact, all the tabs will use it. And now that I'm thinking of this like this, I'm starting to think we need Vuex. So, for those wondering what Vuex is, let's say we've got our application. All right, we're just going to add in a couple of things in here. We're just going to add in like so. We're just going to add in a couple of lines. I'm just going to draw them in. Like so. All right, cool. Let's say you've got some data in here, all right, and you want to access it over here. Now, at the moment, you would have, when you change that data, you emit up, you then use the props to send back down. Not very effective. There's too much entanglement, and it's just terrible. So let's go with that same problem again. So you've got some data over here and you want it to end up over here. What you would do is you would implement something, a state management like VueX in this sort of case. You send it up into VueX and then you request it in here. And that's a lot simpler. I'm starting to look at this and be like, I might need to actually implement a VueX in this. That way I'm not dealing with sending data up and down and handling that complexity, when I can just store in the state management and just go, hey state, can you handle this? It also gives us the option to move the validation up into the state too, because when someone checks something, we can go through a process and make sure it is, you know, done correctly. So we're going to implement Vuex. We're going to open up Vuex. We've got a bunch of Vuex already here for everything. We're going to right hand click and go new file GDPR Vuex.json. And we've just hit ads, our last ad break for the evening. All right, we are running into the last 15 minutes of the 15 minutes of the stream. For the last couple of minutes of the stream, we will be doing a release. I don't know if you guys heard that earlier, but one of our watchers did submit something which I've tested, approved, and moved through into NearBeach. So yeah, pretty exciting stuff. Yeah, we just got to get that released for them tonight. Hey Socks, what are you doing? She's like, I'm just being here, just lying and showing my belly. For those who want proof, there's her belly. Yeah. Yeah. So 10 years ago when I got socks, she used to love sternum scratches a lot. I'll give her a sternum scratch, but the instant I went to her belly, she used to go into full-on tack mode. Now she just goes into full-on lick mode. She's like, yeah, sternum scratch, belly. She's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna attack you now. Alright, where are we with the ads? About 13 seconds left. So yeah, oh, that just that is a bug that is annoying me. Welcome back, everyone. All right, cool. So we're gonna quickly do this. We're probably gonna stop very soon. You can't trust anyone with your belly. Yep. Yep. She hardly gives anyone licks. So yeah, she only licks me. So I feel privileged. I'm just going to open up another one of these because I've forgotten the structure. So I'm just going to quickly look at it again. So we don't need datetime. We need to export const module, and this will be GDPR. That's it, GDPR. All right, cool. And then we've got the state, which just does that. We need to add code, which we will. We've got the mutations, which does that. We've got the actions, or is that action? Actions, plural, and that's an object. And then we've got the getters, which is just like that. All right, cool. So there's more to this because I've just implemented it there. We go into app here. Actually, VueJS store, sorry. We go into VueJS store. We've got the user settings, we've got the import, we've got to import it. So this will be above Gantt chart. So import module GDPR. And then in here we go GDPR module GDPR. And that's it. All right. So in here, what we're going to do is we're going to move some data up there. So straight off the bat, we're going to move this validation data, and we can add in a watch. So if we go watch down here, we can use map getters to actually get validation data, and that's just going to be get validation data. And that's it. We do need to import map getters. We just go up here. Those are actually components. Those aren't anything like that. So we'll put that there. We've got the Vuex. We'll go import map getters from Vuex. Easy done. That goes down here. Map getters. That doesn't exist at the moment, so we'll quickly put that in here. But first what we need to do is, easiest way to do this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I think with the getters, we just go get validation data. No. All right, it has been a little while. Let me just double check this. Yep, it's an object, and then we pass through. Yep, all right, cool. So get validation data object, and we pass through the state, and then we get the return validation data. State dot validation data. All right, cool. So yeah, that's how it's done. It has been a little while since I played around with this. It'll take a little while just to jog my memory. And then what we want to do, GDPR wizard, we removed it from here, which is great because now we've moved it up there. We'll also probably look at, we'll still need to vbind that. That's perfectly fine. We'll probably, we won't need that anymore because that will actually happen every single time we do an action. So in here, what we want to do is we'll have an action. We'll also go into here and we'll go object, instead of object results, we'll actually key that into the view itself. So the idea is when it changes in the VueJS straight away. So we're like, all right, cool, this gets connected to that. And then when you update it, that happens. Pretty simple stuff. I'm just trying to remember how it's done properly. I think, I'm not sure if it's map getters, but yeah. All right, not a problem. Let's do a feature branch for this. So I'm going to go over here. We're going to stop this. We're going to go remove static. We're going to go git status. So those, we've created that today. We created that today. We created all those components. Down. We've modified all of those. Yep. Git add everything. Git status. So yeah, those are all we've modified. Git flow. Hang on, I think I mucked this up. Git flow feature start GDPR. Okay, git status. Cool. Git. And I'm just gonna git commit. All right. Initial commit for the GDPR. Easy done. Git push. We need to actually git push set upstream origin feature GDPR. Okay, cool. And let's go git checkout develop git pull. What I've also got to do is git checkout main git pull. Git checkout develop, git merge main. Just to make sure there's nothing. All right, cool. Git push. Sometimes some things get pulled into main, and I need to sort this up and so forth like that. So what we want to do, npm audit. All right, cool. npm run prod. I need to learn rebase. Yes, yeah, I need to. One day. The problem is, I'll learn it and not use it for a while, and then I'm like, Alright, git status. There's no changes. Alright, cool. Oh, I am going to actually install those directly after stream. Okay, npm run E2E. Actually, no, because there's no changes or anything like that, and it's all backend changes. I don't need to run end-to-ends or anything like that because it's the same version as last time. We can skip straight to the pull. All right. get going, and I am going to snooze that ad. I'm hoping I snoozed it. Give me 2 seconds. No, I've got 30 minutes. Why are you... What the hell? Oh, no, don't worry. Sorry, that was a glitch on... Twitch really needs to fix that. Develop. So compare and pull. Alright, so this would be we're comparing develop with main. What have we done? We've done merge main, change that, improved API groups. Alright, more. And thank you very much for the follows. Nazi72, welcome, welcome. I do hope you are enjoying my content. Correct command for initialing bait. Alright. Nocturnal. I'm just going to copy this. So, new feature. Oh. There we go. So create new we are going hidden changes, adding more unit tests for the API. We also did a change to the API, changes to API, version 0, breaking. All right, cool. I'm going to go create. Now, should check this. Actually, it shouldn't have checked. It should just log in. Four minutes ago, failing. No, that probably good reason why it failed. But it should be built off this develop. Test backend ran. All right, cool. I'm gonna check the build for this. Front end's still running. All right. We haven't changed the front end, so I know that's gonna work perfectly fine. Oops, wrong screen. So we're going in here. We're gonna merge without. Yep. All right, cool. Ooh, before I do. All right, sweet. And we are going to do another release. So this will be 0.31.78. Oof. Okay, and then generate release notes. That will pop into there. That should be perfectly fine. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. Status per release, create discussions. All right. Cool. Publishing. So yeah, Nocturnal, that will be released in half an hour. And I'll probably update mine. Yeah. Yeah, all good, all good. Yeah, cool. Anyway, let's find someone to raid. It's because it's pretty much 10 o'clock at the moment. I've got to go to bed, otherwise, because I've got to wake up at 6 in the morning anyway. Let's raid Zero Day. They raided me the other night, so I'm going to raid them back. All right. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, for coming tonight. It has been wonderful. We got a lot done. We're getting the GDPR stuff sort of sorted and on the ball. So yeah, hopefully that will take only a couple of streams. Now that I'm looking into it, it's probably going to take a little bit more, and I'm probably going to have to actually work on it tomorrow night and stuff like that to really push it forward. Just because we're almost halfway through this month, and there's a lot I wanted to get done this month. I might have bit off too much. So yeah. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy 0 day. And for those on YouTube, thank you very much for being here. Yeah, sadly you won't be able to join us on the raid, but I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So yeah.